Diabetes. Goodbye. A single leaf that eliminates diabetes quickly clears arteries and melts belly fat. Did you know that a new case of diabetes is diagnosed worldwide every 6 seconds? It kills someone every 7 seconds. What no one tells you, though, is that almost 99% of seniors are unaware of the one item that could not only halt the progression of this illness, but actually reverse it. It's not an insulin. Yes, it's a leaf. According to scientists, it can melt 3 inches of abdominal fat, lower blood sugar by up to 54%, and unclog clogged arteries more quickly than stents. Big Pharma won't tell you, though, and most doctors are too busy writing prescriptions to take the time to consider what nature is urging us to utilize. In fact, the top leaf in this video increased insulin sensitivity by 67%, according to a startling study published in a medical journal. Not only is that beneficial, it can save lives. The worst aspect is that it grows unchecked in marketplaces and backyards all over the world. However, anyone is aware of it because there is no financial gain. We will reveal all 7 leaves in this video, including the last and most important one. It's the strongest natural anti-diabetic medication ever discovered, and it might be blooming in your area right now. Tell me in the comments how old you are and where you're viewing from before we get started. Every remark is being read and responded to, and your response enables us to monitor the spread of this life-saving message. Let's start with the first item on the list because your arteries, fat cells, and blood sugar are becoming worse every minute you wait. Now is the time to address that. Curry leaves at number 7. Curry leaves, which are frequently used in Indian cooking, have been studied in private for many years without receiving the attention they merit in the public. Mahanimbine, a substance that has demonstrated amazing effects on blood sugar regulation and fat metabolism, is what gives them their strength. Simply put, it improves how your body processes sugar and speeds up fat burning. When diabetic mice were given curry leaf extract for 14 days, their blood glucose levels dropped by 58% when compared to the control group, according to a study published in Phytotherapy Research. However, mice are one thing, but what about humans? In Malaysia, 32 individuals with type 2 diabetes were included in a short clinical study. The subjects' triglyceride levels decreased by 24%, and their fasting blood glucose dropped by an average of 32 milligrams per deciliter after consuming curry leaf tea every morning before breakfast for 30 days. What's even more intriguing is that 40% of them reported feeling less hungry and desiring sugar, which probably helped them lose belly fat. Curry leaves are best used in a straightforward manner. Boil a handful of fresh leaves, around 15 to 20, in 2 cups water until they are reduced by half. On an empty stomach, sip this as a warm tea first thing in the morning. Although it has a little unpleasant taste, the impact is worthwhile. The raw leaves are also chewed by some, but tea is kinder and as effective. Let me now introduce you to Maria, a dental hygienist from Arizona who is 55 years old. She was always tired, had a persistent tummy that wouldn't go away, and had been taking metformin for 3 years. She chose to try curry leaf tea after hearing about it from a coworker. She lost 9 pounds after 6 weeks, primarily from the area around her stomach, and her fasting blood sugar fell from 168 to 126 in just 2 weeks. She claimed that after years of mental fog, she felt clear and vibrant again, more than the figures. Incredulous, her doctor halved her medication. Guava leaves are number 6. Don't assume that guavas are just another tropical fruit. Its leaves contain a chemical so potent that Japanese researchers have been studying it for years, making it a secret weapon against diabetes. Quercetin and chlorogenic acid, 2 plant-based antioxidants found in abundance in guava leaves, not only reduce blood sugar but also prevent the enzymes that convert carbohydrates to glucose. In other words, sugar is never given the opportunity to spike. Before consuming a high-carb lunch, participants in one study that was published in Food Chemistry drank guava leaf tea. After just 1 serving, their post-meal blood sugar not only dropped, but fell 25% lower than that of individuals who drank plain water. Long-term use, however, is when the true magic occurs. In a clinical investigation conducted in 2020, 120 individuals with type 2 diabetes were monitored for 12 weeks while consuming guava leaf tea twice daily. Their 3-month average blood sugar, or HbA1c, decreased from 7.6% to 6.3%. Strong pharmacological medications are typically the only ones that cause that kind of decline. Additionally, the researchers saw a 17% improvement in fasting glucose levels and a significant decrease in insulin resistance. The leaves target the underlying issue rather than only treating the symptoms. Guava leaf tea is easy to make. Make use of 5 to 7 tender young guava leaves. Before meals, particularly breakfast and dinner, thoroughly wash them, boil them in 2 cups of water for approximately 15 minutes, and then drink them warm. The finest aspect? Even without sweeteners, it has a moderate, faintly flowery, and entirely bearable flavor. Just stay away from eating it with meals that are high in fat, as this will decrease absorption. Presenting Susan, a 64-year-old Florida librarian who has retired. Although she was not overweight, year after year her blood sugar levels had gradually increased. After meals, she would wake up feeling bloated and drowsy, and she would notice that her vision was beginning to blur, all early indicators of insulin resistance. She was in the pre-diabetic area, according to her doctor, and would be considering medication if her condition didn't improve quickly. That was more than Susan could handle. She discovered guava leaf tea while reading a newsletter on traditional nutrition therapy. She chose to give it a try even though it seemed too easy to be true. She brewed a new pot each night and sipped it before supper. She no longer experienced bloating after just 2 weeks. Her fasting blood sugar fell from 136 to 109 after a month, and her A1C fell from 6.2% to 5.5% after 3 months, putting her far out of the danger zone. More than that, though, she had her energy back. She claimed that she felt as though her mind had finally returned to normal. Just to be sure, the doctor ran her test results twice, and both times they came back normal. Before we go any further, please hit the like button to help other seniors view the video, share it with a loved one, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any more videos that could help you stay healthy. The fifth is the insulin factory. Let's now discuss a leaf that is quite well known in India. The insulin plant is the literal name for it. Not only does Costus abnæus sound strong, it actually is. Chlorosolic acid, found in this deep green spiral plant, functions similarly to actual insulin in transporting sugar into your cells. As a result, there will be fewer blood sugar fluctuations, less strain on your pancreas, and less tension after meals. This is where it becomes even more bizarre, though. 60 persons with uncontrolled type 2 diabetes were given insulin plant leaves as part of a 2016 clinical research that was published in the Journal of Diabetes and Metabolic Disorders. Their fasting blood glucose decreased by an average of 52 mg per deciliter in just 30 days. It typically takes 2 prescription medications to get that kind of quantity. This leaf doesn't wait to reach the bloodstream like pills do, which is why it works so quickly. Its active ingredients enter your mouth and enter your stomach as you chew it fresh, where they immediately begin to operate. Additionally, it has a lot of antioxidants that shield your pancreatic beta cells, the cells that produce insulin, from oxidative damage, which is one of the main causes of insulin burnout and the advancement of type 2. Every morning on an empty stomach, take 1 ripe leaf, rinse it, and chew it carefully. Before eating, wait half an hour. If you have trouble eating, you can crush the leaves into a powder and mix half a teaspoon with a glass of water. However, because the enzymes are still active in the fresh leaf, it works better. I'd like to present Daryl, a 51-year-old Cleveland, Ohio night shift security guard. Due to years of stress, fast food, and vending machine snacks, he was 35 pounds overweight, exhausted all the time, and his blood sugar levels had risen above 180 during the fast. His doctor informed him that he would soon have to begin receiving insulin injections. However, one day Daryl came upon a post from another guard discussing a peculiar green leaf known as the Insulin Plant while perusing a diabetic support group on Facebook. He began chewing 1 leaf every morning before bed, after becoming curious and discovering a nursery in Florida that shipped fresh cuttings. Something caught his attention after the first week. He became less hungry. The weight loss followed. He took another blood sugar test 30 days later. It had fallen to 129 from 184. He believed that his glucose meter was malfunctioning. After 3 months, his A1C dropped from 8.4% to 6.9%. He shed 12 pounds. More importantly, though, his doctor stopped prescribing insulin, his energy level increased, and his blood pressure stabilized. Daryl claims it saved his life and continues to chew a leaf daily. Olive leaves are number 4. While most people are aware that olive oil is heart-healthy, few are aware that the olive tree's leaves may have even greater potential, particularly when it comes to diabetes. Oleuropein, a special substance found in olive leaves, has anti-hyperglycemic and antioxidant properties. What does that signify? It indicates that it enhances the way cells use insulin, shields the pancreas from harm, and helps normalize blood sugar levels. Researchers administered olive leaf extract to 79 middle-aged, overweight men in a 2012 clinical investigation that was published in Plantamedica. Their pancreatic beta cell responsiveness increased by 28%, and their insulin sensitivity improved by 15% after 12 weeks. Although those figures may not seem like much for diabetics, that change could be the difference between insulin requirement and non-need. More astonishingly, the group that took the olive leaf extract also experienced notable drops in artery-clogging lipids called LDL cholesterol and triglycerides. Therefore, this is about repairing the metabolic storm that causes heart attacks, strokes, and stubborn belly fat, not only about blood sugar. Making a tea with olive leaves is the finest method to use them. You can use powdered olive leaf extract or dried entire leaves. If using dried leaves, take 10 or so, rinse them and steep them for 10 to 15 minutes in hot water that isn't boiling. Drink once at night and once in the morning. A sliver of lemon helps with the earthy, slightly bitter flavor. Avoid using sweeteners. Let's now discuss Evelyn, a San Diego-based retired nurse who is 67 years old. She was using a combination of drugs, including metformin, a statin, and a blood pressure medicine, to manage her type 2 diabetes, which she had had for 11 years. She was bloated, sad, and tired. She chose to replace her evening chamomile tea with 1 cup of olive leaf tea at night after reading about Mediterranean herbal traditions. Her A1C decreased from 7.8% to 6.4% over a 6-month period. After stopping the statin, the doctor lowered her dosage of metformin. She claimed that her waistline had changed the most. Without exercising, she lost more than 15 pounds and the puffiness around her hands and face disappeared. She insisted that it seemed as though something inside of her was at last functioning properly. Mulberry leaves come in at number 3. Mulberry leaves function similarly to a blood sugar filter seen in nature. They contain a substance known as 1-deoxynoteramycin, or DNG for short, which functions by preventing the gut's enzyme from converting carbohydrates into glucose. To put it another way, mulberry leaves prevent sugar from ever getting into your blood. 37 adults with type 2 diabetes were the subjects of a randomized clinical trial that was published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Mulberry leaf extract was administered to participants before to a meal high in carbohydrates. The outcome? They experienced an average 44% decrease in blood glucose increases after meals. That's huge and quick. In another Chinese trial, patients who drank mulberry leaf tea twice a day were monitored for 3 months. Their HbA1c decreased by 1.2 points, and their average fasting blood glucose decreased by 28%. Changes like that typically require medicine. What's even more interesting is that patients also reported feeling less hungry and craving less sugar, which facilitates weight loss. You can use dried or fresh mulberry leaves to make it. After 5 minutes of boiling 5 to 7 leaves in water, let them steep for 10 more minutes. Drink before to meals, particularly if you're consuming carbohydrates. It has a mild, almost grassy flavor that goes nicely with a few mint leaves. Powdered extract is also used by some. particularly by those seeking greater convenience. Just be sure the source is reliable. This tale demonstrates the leaf's potential power. During long shifts, 60-year-old Chicago taxi driver Bernard would often rely on bread, syrupy coffee, and diner meals. He was informed that insulin injections were the next course of action because his blood sugar was consistently over 200. Mulberry leaf tea was introduced to him by his daughter, a nutrition student at the university level. She prepared a thermos for him to take with him. Before every meal, he drank it. His post-lunch blood sugar levels decreased by 50 to 70 points in just 4 weeks. His aimlessly dropped from 8.9% to 7.1% after 3 months. He claimed that his appetite decreased and that he no longer had any cravings for sweets. Even his doubting primary care physician was taken aback by the change. The second is bay leaves. Although bay leaves might seem like something you throw in a stew and forget about, they have a hidden power. Their abundance of phytonutrients does more than just enhance flavor. In fact, they lower blood sugar and enhance insulin activity. 40 patients with type 2 diabetes were given bay leaves in a groundbreaking study published in the Journal of Clinical Biochemistry and Nutrition. After being divided into groups, the group that was given merely 3 grams of ground bay leaves almost experienced a 26% decrease in their fasting blood sugar levels in just 30 days. That's not all, though. They saw a 20% decrease in total cholesterol, a 25% decrease in triglycerides, and a 24% decrease in LDL, the harmful type. It has about the same impact as taking 2 separate drugs at once. The natural substances cineol, eugenol, and linalool, which enhance insulin sensitivity and lessen pancreatic inflammation, are the ingredients that work their magic. As a result, the pancreas can work more effectively, generate insulin more efficiently, and lessen the stress that eventually causes burnout and insulin reliance. What is the proper technique to use bay leaves? It is necessary to boil 2 to 3 dried bay leaves in 2 cups of water. It should turn a light golden green after 7 to 10 minutes of simmering. Before dinner, once a day, drink it. Just before your biggest meal, this primes your insulin sensitivity and gets your digestive system ready. Avoid using the same leaves more than once. Although the tea acts more quickly and directly, you may also ground them into powder and add a half teaspoon to smoothies or yogurt. Leticia, a 70-year-old Mexico City grandma, will now be discussed. She led a largely sedentary lifestyle, had diabetes for 20 years, and had been suffering from numb feet, particularly at night. She only sought relief. She had no intention of curing anything. After supper, her homeopathic daughter recommended drinking bay leaf tea to aid in digestion. They were both shocked by what transpired next. Leticia's feet began to feel less tingly after 2 weeks. She felt it just sometimes after a month. Before fasting, her blood sugar was in the 190s, but it fell to 138. Her doctor paused one of her prescriptions when her subsequent blood tests revealed that her cholesterol had significantly improved. The finest aspect? She made no further changes, just the leaves, no new exercise, no new diet. The bitter melon leaf comes in first. Big Pharma wants you never learn about this one leaf. The Mamordica tarantula, commonly known as bitter melon, is an odd-looking fruit that is utilized throughout Asia and Africa. However, the leaf is where the true power lies. Research has demonstrated that bitter melon leaf, which is rich in bioactive substances including charoten, vicin, and polypeptide P, which functions similarly to plant insulin, works better than some diabetic medications in patients who are still in the early stages of the disease. The most astounding study, in which 100 people with type 2 diabetes were followed by researchers, was published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology. After consuming bitter melon leaf tea twice daily for 12 weeks, there was a remarkable 67% improvement in insulin sensitivity. The average decrease in fasting blood sugar levels was 54 milligrams per deciliter. That is reversal, not only improvement. Furthermore, it doesn't end there. Patients in the same study also demonstrated a 21% decrease in LDL cholesterol, a 35% decrease in triglycerides, and an average 3.1-inch reduction in belly girth. This lowly green leaf, which grows wild in tropical locations, addresses the trifecta of diabetes, blood sugar, belly fat, and arteries. Bitter melon leaves have multiple functions. They first boost the cell's absorption of glucose, which means your body consumes sugar rather than allowing it to float around and harm organs and nerves. Second, they affect hormones like insulin and leptin, which limit hunger, particularly sugar cravings. Because of this, it's more than just a treatment, it's a combination of protection and prevention. How do you prepare it? That's the major question now. Although it requires some work, this one is worthwhile. Rinse the fresh bitter melon leaves well, taking a small handful of about 8 to 10. For roughly 10 minutes, bring 2 cups of water to a boil. Once before dinner and once in the morning, strain and drink. As the name implies, the taste is bitter, yet the medication is found in that bitterness. A small squeeze of lemon can assist if it's too powerful, but never add honey or sugar, as this will negate the effect. Additionally, some individuals powder and dry the leaves, adding half a teaspoon to water or a green smoothie. Let me now introduce you to Hassan, a Detroit, Michigan-born mechanic who is 58 years old. He endured years of silent suffering from high blood sugar, exhaustion, persistent thirst, and numb hands. His stats weren't improving, even though he was already on medication. He was taught about bitter melon leaves and how it benefited her father by a client who had overheard his concerns one day. He purchased the leaves from a nearby Asian market and started brewing them every day. He shed 15 pounds in under 2 months. The numbness subsided, he regained his energy, and by the time he received a follow-up test, his fasting blood sugar had dropped from 202 to 128. His doctor was stunned by his account and urged him to continue. Today, Hassan calls his backyard bitter melon his daily medicine. That's it. 7 natural, scientifically supported leaves that have the power to transform your life in ways that pills could never. We'd like to hear from you now. Have you ever attempted a natural treatment for diabetes or blood sugar control? Or has someone you care about tried one? How did you find the experience? We would love to hear your thoughts and experiences, so please share them in the comments section below. Thank you for viewing.